Welcome to Study the Solopreneur, a series where we learn about the rewards and challenges of those who've built a successful career for themselves while paving the way for others like you to do the same. I am your host, Dana Gore, and I'm glad to have you with us. So let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome to Study the Solopreneur, a series where we discuss the rewards and challenges of living your truth, freeing your mind, and being creative, of starting your own business, doing work you love. I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest. Sylviane Nuccio and I go back many years. I first met her, believe it or not, through blog commenting. She had written a post about the law of attraction, and I chimed in through the comment section. We hit it off immediately, eventually wrote guest posts for one another's blogs, and 6 years later, here we are. Sylviane is a life coach, author, writer, and creator of SylvianeNuccio.com. She practices what she teaches, how to use your imagination wisely, creating a meaningful life filled with purpose and living your truth. At least that's how I view her work. So I am going to, you probably heard some bings, that would be one of my social media networks. So I just closed that out. And without further ado, let's get started. Hey, Sylviane, how are things going?
Hey, Dana, I'm so happy to speak with you today.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a pleasure reconnecting with you. And
Yes.
It's been a little while.
Yep. We spoke once since I've been on this side of the ocean. We spoke once, but yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and we will talk about, the side of the ocean you are on, because I know, at least from some of what I had seen, on social media, that you are living a very interesting life, very picturesque, I would say, and we'll get into all of that and how you manage to manifest that into your life.
Mm-hmm.
So Tell me, Sylviane, I know what you're doing now. I'm not 100% clear on what you were doing before. So what did you do before becoming a solopreneur?
Well, I did a lot of different jobs that I didn't like. Since I can remember, I was never good at having someone order me around. So I never enjoyed having a boss. And from the earliest age, I knew that I did not want to have a boss. But unfortunately, yes, I started working jobs. The two main jobs I had in the United States was working in a law firm, a small law firm, and they used me because I was trilingual for my English, French, and Spanish. And the other job was a recruiter. And again, I was hired because of my languages for English and French, because I was working with Canada, Quebec, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the two jobs, the main jobs that I had, that were kind of interesting, and I learned a lot about different things. But the one thing that bothered me was that I had a manager or a boss, and that I couldn't stand it. So early 2000s, when I heard about network marketing and working online, being your own boss, that really attracted me right away. And that was my first solopreneur job, was working as a network marketer.
Interesting. All right. That I did not know. It's a popular business model for a lot of people. Some people do very well at it. I personally, it didn't resonate with me, but I know other people do. What inspired you to make the change? Like, why did you end up going into that? Well, you hated having a boss. Hated having a boss and a manager and being told what to do.
Yes. That was the main motivation. Now, I did not like network marketing either, because I do not like to sell, and you still have to sell.
Yep.
What I did like is the mindset of people. And that's where I was introduced to coaching and to the law of attraction and to all that good stuff about the mind. So that was very good for me, this part of the network marketing. But as far as the selling part, I hated it. So what I did was writing, because I knew I could write, and I always loved to write.
Mhm.
And so I started writing articles to sell my business as a network marketer. But anything else like flyers, things, where you have to face people and try to sell them your products, that part I hated, and I never wanted to do that.
Oh, I can so totally relate. Yeah. And like I said, I know there are people who are great at it. I think it's great for a specific type of person,
Mhm.
but it's not an easy thing to get into. But in your case, it was like a stepping stone. And I love that that's part of your story, because sometimes people go into something and they think that the thing they go into is going to be the thing, but sometimes it's just a step toward what.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Going where you want to go from where you are is like a staircase. You have to go step by step by step.
Yeah.
After network marketing, I did affiliate marketing, because then I didn't have to face anyone. I just could write and write and write articles after articles. So that was the second step. I didn't go from my office as a recruiter to being a coach. No, I didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you evolved into what you are doing now, which I think is great, and I think it adds a certain amount of flexibility to sort of kind of hang back, live your truth, and sort of just allow things to unfold in front of you. And they're not always going to be what you set out, but sometimes you don't end up with what you initially wanted, but you end up with what you needed, with what was the best way, which might not have been the first way. And that's
Mm,
what I love about listening to your story. I mean, so
yeah.
you're a successful blogger, writer, and coach. There had to have been some obstacles and challenges that you encountered along the way. I think we all do. How have you handled them?
My main uh the main problem that I had, and that's why I got interested into it, was my mindset. I did not believe in myself enough, and that's why I was very interested in the coaching side of the network marketing. And I realized that a lot of things that were blocking me was all in my head. So that was the main part. I think that if I had been like a free thinker, with a nice pinky life, everything went so well in my life, I have so much self-confidence, I would have been able to go much faster.
Mhm.
But man, oh man, I had so many layers of crap
Mhm.
that I had to take care of. Um, I was bullied in school very seriously for 12 years. So that's a long time to be bullied by bullies. And that really, really affected me deeply. Bullying is no kidding. It really affects your brain seriously. It takes your self-confidence away. A lot of things that happened into my life was because of that, because I was never unhappy at home. So I know it wasn't home. For me, it was school, the bullying thing. And that's what even uh, I started having very bad romantic relationships where I would always meet bullies because I was doing what I knew best, being bullied. And that's why now I don't even do life coaching so much. It's more specific. I really coach women who have had and still have relationship issues, the exact same ones as I had myself.
Gotcha.
So
I know bullying is a big thing. It's always been a big thing. And you see people become products of that. And here you took that, and I know it wasn't easy. It had to have been a lot of hard work. But you have not only survived it, but you've turned it into something. You've used your own experience now to help other people with that. And I think it's the most intelligent way to handle any crappy thing that's ever happened in your life. You know, we can either become defined by the thing itself, or we can learn from it and use it as a tool, you know, and that's what it sounds like you've done. I find that very empowering.
Yeah. Yes, when life gives you lemon, you make lemonade.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you've got to do. Otherwise, you know, I could have got into, and I was, when I was a kid, I remember very, very depressed. I had symptoms, you know, side effects of depression and stuff. But, you know, I did not sink into a very dark place to the point that I was, you know, wanting to harm others, like some people who have been bullied do, or even shoot myself or anything like that, you know. I'm glad that I recovered, even though at the time, my mother didn't even think about bringing me to a shrink. You know, in those days, first of all, the word bullying, not even in French, was used. You know, people didn't use that word. Today I hear on the radio, on TV, they talk about that every day, even here in France, same as in the United States. But in my days, when I was in school, you never heard the word. They had no idea what it was. The teachers, they were in the dark. They didn't even know what was happening in their school. And the parents were ignorant as well. They didn't realize, okay, my mother knew I was bullied, and she always was on my side trying to help me. But it didn't even occur to her to bring me to a shrink, which at the time I actually needed. So, you know, I had to do with what I had. I had a loving mother who really helped me in a way with this bullying thing, but I was not helped as if I were a kid today in 2019, let's say.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I know it's a very painful thing. I was bullied. I didn't go through a lot of it, but there was this one kid in the school that used to bully me, to the point where I didn't want to go out, play with anybody. I spent a lot of time by myself at home as a result of that, because it was too painful to try to go out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very painful. Yeah.
It
I
is.
remember I compared school to prison myself, in my little kid head. I remember for me, it was a sentence. It was going to prison. It was not going to school. That's for sure.
Yeah. You know, and I think back to those times when I used to kind of sit on my little balcony at home at night when the other kids were outside playing and I was just sitting at home, and I realized how much I loved being in my own company, thinking deep thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this isn't so bad.
I completely understand. Do you know what? I had a very bad issue until I remember it stopped. I was about 21 years old when I used to walk on the street and a group of kids were about to cross me. I would go on the other side of the road. You don't know how many times I've done that as a kid, as a teenager. And I remember by age 21, I thought to myself, what are you doing? You're not a kid anymore. Those kids, they see you as what you are now. You're a woman, you're an adult. You don't need to be scared of them anymore. But can you imagine? I was 21 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So when you bullied, first of all, yes, you do need a shrink. and yeah, because it does mock you very badly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually discussed that in one of my books in chapter 4. My husband and I started taking martial arts a few years ago. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think all kids should learn how to defend themselves, at least to some degree. It gives you a measure of just feeling a little bit more confident. But, you know, back then, it really wasn't as prevalent. I don't think it was pushed as much. Do you talk about stuff like that? Like, do you have information like that on your blog?
I have talked many times about me being bullied when I wrote different articles about personal development and things. I have done it even for some other people a long time ago. I'm sure the articles is not even online anymore, but um, yeah, I talk about it, and I have written about it,
Yeah.
and all my clients know it because I always explain to them my story, which always helped them understand theirs sometimes. So yeah, it's good to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And folks, for you guys listening, all of the links to Sylviane's blog and this discussion and everything that we're talking about, they're going to be in the description box in the video and in the blog post. So, and I know that she's written articles about some of this stuff. I've seen some of the topics. So, just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that there's more info out there about this discussion. Sylvia, I've known you for several years now. I mean, as I mentioned before, I first met you in the comment section about an article, I think it was on Sue Price's blog, discussing the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Know how you became interested in this topic, because it's a big topic, and how this has worked for you.
So yeah, like I said, I was introduced to the law of attraction doing network marketing.
Mm-hmm.
There was that guy that was like on top of the pyramid, and he was very into law of attraction, and he was giving conferences every Wednesday afternoon. And man, I used to love it because I recognized so many things about what he said, not only about me, but about my mother, some relatives, some friends of mine. And I was like, oh, now I get it. Everything that happened to them, it's the law of attraction. And for me, it was like a light bulb in my head. Wow, amazing. So from that day, I never stopped studying the law of attraction. And then I remembered that 10 years before that, though, so I'm talking 30 years now, 30 something years, I had read a book. I think I was like 20 years old, a book from Catherine Ponder. And I read the book in French, so it was translated in French. And then I learned about Catherine Ponder when I was in the United States. And her book was all about the stuff that I'm talking about myself now. But then that's all I did at the time. I was still young and so many other things happened in my life. I dropped the subject really, but I was already interested in that stuff. So 10 years later, 11 years later exactly, I'm hearing about that law of attraction, and then put two and two together, realize that, yeah, this guy is not lying to me. I can see the law of attraction in my own life, in my mother's life, in some other people's life that I know very, very well enough to know that, yes, this is the law of attraction, meaning what you think, what you believe, and what you feel is what is going to happen to you. There was no doubt, nobody had to convince me. I was convinced that I didn't know the word, I didn't know the term of this thing, but I already had experience, and I was even a witness to the law of attraction. So that's why I'm very convincing when I talk about it to people, because I don't even need to tell them I believe in it. I live it. I know it is. I know it's a law. It's one of the law of the universe, period. Whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's like gravity. Well, the law of attraction doesn't care about you. It affects you anyhow. So you better know about it, might as well.
Right. It's neutral. And
It's completely neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works like a mirror. Basically, it's not about what you want, it's about what's inside of you.
Exactly. The law of attraction doesn't care about what you want. It will give you what you are, basically. What you are in the sense of what you think, what you feel, that's what you're getting. do I have time to give you an experience of an incredible experience that happened to me about the law of attraction?
Go for it.
It was a time where I was in a very, very bad place in my life with a very bad partner, a narcissist, pervert narcissist. Very bad place in my life. And I had a car accident with my car, not something very, I was not hurt or anything. And my car goes to the garage, and I had a good insurance. So, the car gets taken care of, and I get a rental car. And it was the same color as my car. I remember it was a red car. And because I was in such a dark place emotionally, I'm driving that rental car paid by my insurance, and I'm at a stoplight. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, wow, what about if I had an accident with this car? That would be awful.
Oh, God.
And as I'm thinking that, it's not only just, those bad thoughts that we have 10,000 times a day. No, it was not one of those. It was really a thought that I adopted right away. And I could feel the anguish in my whole body. And as I was at that red light, I had to make two turns, a right turn and a left turn. I was going to a store, a grocery store. And I'm feeling all this stupid feeling because I have this crazy thought of having an accident with that car now. I'm making a right turn, and I'm waiting to make a left turn to go into the parking lot of the store. And I hear boom. My car had just hit a white car, which I swear to this day wasn't there. The car wasn't there, or I was blind because I didn't see it. And the reason I know I didn't see it is when you are going to make a left turn, for anybody who knows how to drive, you stop, right? You stop and you wait until there is no traffic, and then you make your left turn. Well, there was no traffic in my head, in my eyes, there was no traffic. But there was a car that I hit, so it must have been there. And that day, the first word that I heard when I hit that car that wasn't there a second before, I heard law of attraction.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, I just attracted that accident, but big time. We all attract all our accidents. I believe that too. But this one was like an instant manifestation that I knew 110% I had provoked. I had done it, period. It's amazing. And I remember even the police, when they came, and they're so used to those things, they know exactly how fast you were going, depending on how damaged your and the other car is. And I remember the cop telling me, well, you were going, what, not even 20 miles an hour. He's telling me. And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't even going 20 miles an hour. I was going more like 10 miles an hour because I was at a stop, about to make a left turn. And then that, I could not explain him what happened. He would have think I was crazy. But I said, it just was, that car was there, and it just wasn't when I was going to make the turn, and then it was. That's all I could tell him. That was the truth. So if you don't believe that the universe can bring you what you ask for, man, you better believe it. Because that day, I asked for an accident. I asked with my thoughts, and then it invaded my whole body, I remember. And 10 seconds later, I got it. I got what I asked for. So yes, the universe is completely neutral, and it uses this law. This is one of the main laws of the universe to deliver what you ask for. So the problem with most people is that that's what happens. We have negative thoughts. I heard a coach not long ago on her video. She was saying, for some reason, people feel more comfortable having negative thoughts than having positive ones. And because of that big worldwide problem. That's why people have most of the time bad stuff happening to them. Thankfully, since that accident, I learned quite a bit about, thinking positive instead of negative, and now I kind of attract better things, thankfully. But this is a very good example of what the law of attraction can do. And it's true that, when I tell my clients, when you do your affirmations, your visualizations, you need to feel it, because I know that what attracted that accident that day, more than just the thought, was I really felt the anguish. I really felt it. I felt it so well that I manifested the thing in 10 seconds. So when you want something good, a good job, a good relationship, you need to feel it with all your body, with every cell of your body. And believe me, the thing is going to show up very fast.
I had heard it, I think it was phrased something like this, where it was, I think, like, thoughts are electric, but emotions are magnetic.
Exactly. Yeah, because if you have only the thought, that's a protection. That's a good thing, because we have a lot of negative thoughts that are not even conscious. If you have just the thought, but it does not affect you, that's okay. It will just go away. But man, yeah, if you have the feeling that goes with it, that's completely magnetic. Yes, that's so true.
We'll have to at some point set maybe another discussion up. It's a topic I could talk to you about for a good long time.
Yeah, I know you enjoy this topic.
Yeah. Well, and talking about law of attraction, I mean, like, I know that you travel the world and work remotely. I mean, from what I've seen in your post, it appears to be a blissful circumstance. And I'm thinking this is probably something you attracted into your life. Is that how it happened?
Yes, I certainly attracted it, because I remember doing a lot of scripting, writing what I wanted. Not specifically what I got, because it's my fault. I could have been more specific. It just wasn't. I was just writing a lot about being free, being physically free, financially free, traveling. And then came the idea, well, I haven't been in France, my country of birth, for 15 years straight. So I lived in the United States for 22 years, and for 15 years straight of those years, didn't even see France at all, not even anywhere in Europe. So I thought, well, I learned from Ryan, I can't pronounce his last name, start with a B, I think. I think you know him.
Blogging from Paradise.
Yes, exactly. From Blogging from Paradise.
Budolf, I think, Ryan Budolf. We'll have to.
Yes, exactly. That's him. So he was doing house sitting. I knew he was doing that traveling of his, doing house sitting. So I sent him a message once asking him, hey, how do you find those houses to sit? And he sent me a link, and I registered right away. And that's how I started. I started in Scotland and then England, and then I went down to France. And luckily, and I don't believe in luck, I think that I really attracted the perfect place for me. It was a place where I could stay for 10 months in a beautiful property where I'm now as of today. Mm-hmm. And it was 10 months, but it turned into 4 years because it's so beautiful and I loved it so much. Mm. And that was great, because it's very hard as far as house sitting go to find long contracts like that. Sometimes they'll take you, when they go on vacation. So it could be 2 weeks, could be a month max, but 10 months, that doesn't exist anywhere. And it was France. So for me, it was so easy. The person had her ad in English, but I knew she was French. because of her name, first of all, her first name. Even though her last name is English because she's married to an Australian. But I knew she was French, so I answered in French. And I knew when you speak the language of the person, you already made a point there. And I knew that just by writing in French, I was going to be taken. She was going to choose me, and she did.
Wow.
I knew it.
Okay. So, I mean, you're able to do that because, again, you work remotely. And
Yes.
between the writing and the coaching, is there a part of your business model that you happen to love the best, or is it all related? You love it all equally?
Yes. Yes, I really still love writing. That I always will. I haven't written much for my blog lately because now what happens is I didn't even have to advertise my blog. I'm receiving tons of offers on a daily basis of a sponsored post where people pay me to post an article on my blog. So I have a few rules because I want to make sure the articles sound good, look good. But most 95% of my blogs, even 99% of the time now, that's why I don't really advertise my main URL, sylvianenuccio.com, because that's where the blog is. And the blog is now sponsored post talking about mainly business.
Wow.
So, but I still write. Definitely still write. Sometime on other platforms. Sometimes today I wrote an article that I published on my blog about relationships. But now my coaching is really focused more than anything about relationship. Even though I have other still type of clients, but it's really about relationships now.
Gotcha.
Because at one point I had a coach, a business coach, who told me that my coaching was too vague, too general, and that it would be harder with a general coaching to get clients. And it's true. So I had to go more, more niche wise.
Mhm.
And that's why I decided, well, since I have such a great experience about relationship, I've learned so much about why and the how and the why and the how to heal from it. I decided to start doing this. And I had some clients sometimes just email me, and because they knew I was going to be a good coach for them, just because they resonate with my article, for example. So yeah, writing is still important for me, definitely.
So, what profound changes have you noticed in your clients' lives that were the result of having you coach them?
So many. Well, when it comes to the relationship thing, the first thing I teach my client is self-love, because most people have a very, very sucky image about themselves. And they realize that they don't love themselves, because someone who loves themselves, first of all, will not attract a pervert narcissist and will not live with them. That's for sure. And so the first thing I teach them is this: to love themselves. And I give them affirmations. I give them mirror exercise, all kind of stuff to trick their brain, their subconscious mind, into pretending. At first it sounds like they're pretending, but when you repeat, you know what they say, when you repeat a lie long enough, you start believing the lie. Well,
Right.
that's how affirmation works. At first you don't believe it, but the more you practice it, the more you repeat it, the more you do the exercise, the more you start believing it. And after a while, they feel that they love themselves better. And as soon as they do that, they notice they start attracting different people. Not only romantic partners, but different people in general. People start looking at them differently. And all of that because they have a different aura about them. because they love themselves more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing is, they send me emails, messages telling me, wow, I met this guy and that would have never happened to me before. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's for sure. And that's fantastic. Lately I had a client, but this one is not about relationship. It's about more general life coaching. She told me, I'm making way more money since I know you. I was, wow, I love to hear that, so in general, yes, my clients, they see a transformation, but it always starts with them. I always make a point to understand that I can only give them the exercise, the advice, share them stuff that I know that they may not know. But the job, it's an inside out job.
Mm-hmm.
And, a cliche that, well, it's not a cliche. Sometimes people call it a cliche, like you have to be happy first before you can be happy from the outside. That's not a cliche. That's true. If you can't find happiness within, if you can't love yourself before anybody else loves you, it will never work. And once they understand that, this is not a cliche, I'm not kidding, I'm not joking. That's what you have to do. You have to learn to love yourself and be happy with yourself. And when that's done, your life changes. But if it doesn't change from the inside first, it doesn't change on the outside. So basically, what they want out there needs to be first in here. Because if it's not in here, it will never happen out there. That's usually what I tell them. And that works out pretty good. Most of my clients, they're very happy with their progress and their shift. Usually after I've helped them. So that's the best reward. Making a living, making money doing this is great, but when people tell you stuff like that, wow, you changed my life, or I'm making more money now since I know you, or I found the man of my dreams because of your coaching, those things are very, very nice to hear. Very happy when I hear those.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. And, my next question is probably the answer you give is probably going to be of a similar theme to what you just said, because it's all about the inside out. But what I was going to ask is, like, what advice would you give to somebody struggling with their lives or their career based on your own experience and knowledge? And it probably a lot of that.
They have to get help. If they can't afford a coach, they have to buy books, personal development books. Read those books. Start learning about your mind, what tricks your mind does on you and on your life, how you can change your mindset, learning about the subconscious mind and how you can reprogram it. Really do your research. Don't stay there like, oh, there's nothing I can do. Because believe me, I know some people who have done that and never ends well. Never ends well. You could live a life of misery. And I know some people very close to me. That's why I was saying early on, when I heard about that law of attraction, it resonated with me right away, because I could see, even worse than my own case, some other cases that were way more advanced than mine, where the person was already older. And a whole life can be a waste. If you never wake up to understand that you don't have to keep on living that crap that you are experiencing. You don't have to. It's up to you, but you can always do something. Before I could get coaches, I got books. books are not expensive. Anybody can get a book. There is even the internet. As long as you can pay your internet, you have free articles like I write, like many other personal development people write. You have YouTube, great videos about helping you changing your brain, rewinding your subconscious mind, and all that good stuff. So that's the advice I would give them. But the best one, of course, is to get a personal coach, someone that's going to help you one-on-one. But don't make it an excuse. If you can't afford a coach, you can always get help. Nowadays, there are so many ways you can get help and start transforming your life just by reading, watching, things that are going to help you.
Yep. I love YouTube for that. That's part of the reason why I wanted to put this, series together as well, even for people to be able to tune in and listen to conversations just like this, which is free. I mean,
yep. Exactly.
Good advice. Because your advice is, again, it's an inside out job.
It is. Even for me, I was making a video I have 2 channels. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm having notifications pop up like constantly.
Okay. I thought we were caught up. I made a video this morning about for my relationship clients and potential clients and whatever, people want to listen to what I have to say. And not so long ago, something negative happened to me. So I was like, wow, this is bad. And me as now someone who's been helping, quite a few dozens of people, I'm like, oh, wow, what's wrong? There's going to be something wrong here. I don't take anything like, oh, that's just life. That doesn't exist in my world. If something bad happened to me, there's something wrong with me. That's basically what I want to say. And sure enough, I found something. I was like, wow, yes, I see it now. So you see, that's another thing. When you want to play the victim all your life, you will never progress in your life. But every time something bad happened to you, a bad experience, go inside, go within. Don't say, oh, this person did that to me. Yes, they did, but guess what? They would not have done it unless it came from you. Because everything that happens to us, it's just a photocopy of us. So instead of accusing the other person, I looked inside. I said, oh, this is not good. This is something I've done. And it's so much better because I did that. I found a few demons in the closets, as I said on my video. And it was great because, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect just because I coach other people. I have my own demons in the closet still, obviously. And that was very helpful to do that. It's not something I could have done 10 years ago now, I don't think. 10 years ago, I would have said, oh, poor me. Even though I knew about the law of attraction, I would still have said that. But today, with my experience and everything, I was convinced that it was no, oh, I'm so unlucky. None of that, And it was me. It was all me. So I would advise people, do that for yourself, Always try to find what is the problem with you. Somebody insults you. Yes, they did the insult, but why? What is it in you that attracted that insult? That's how you have to function. And believe me, when you do that, your life goes better and better and better. Because every time you take, like an onion, you take one layer out and one layer out and one layer out until you pretty much, you won't ever be perfect, but you'll be pretty good, because you have taken so many bad layers. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way it works for me.
Very good. Very good. I think I set this up for like an hour and we've got 5 minutes left.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much, maybe.
No, not at all. Not at all. The only reason I mentioned it is because I had a couple more questions to ask you. I can tell people where to find you, which was the last question. Quickly tell us what projects you're working on right now.
As far as what do you mean? The way I help people, or?
Yeah, like you're a coach. How can people, I guess, find your work? I know you've always got something going on. You write books. You write. You do videos. I mean, these are all things.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
They can find me. They can find my YouTube channel, which has my name. My name is pretty unique. Thanks to my parents, I guess. I've looked for my name for so many years, never found but me. So everything good or bad is, if you see my first and last name, that's going to be me. So I have my YouTube, I have my site, sylvianenuccio.com, but there might not be anyone interested in the law of attraction. There are some articles, but if they really want to connect with me, they should click on the top, the header, there it says career coaching or relationship coaching. So those are the places where they should click. And if they look under the category relationship or the law of attraction, personal development, there they can find my articles where I discuss some of the things that I just talked about.
Excellent. And I will put those links, folks. Those links will be in the description box in this video and in the blog post that will accompany the video. So, Sylviane, I want to thank you for being my guest today.
Well, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I hate to have even had to rush the end of it. They never run this long, and this is what I mean. You and I could sit and probably have a conversation for hours.
Yes. When I start talking about the law of attraction and all that good thing, oh my goodness, yeah, it's hard to stop.
So again, I want to thank you for being my guest. I really looked forward to this discussion and even to just catching up with you. So
yes, I'm really looking forward to see the end product, and I will definitely spread it all over the place.
Awesome. Well, folks, I want to thank you for joining us today. I am always inspired by my guests, and today is no different. I hope you enjoyed Sylviane's message and her words of wisdom. I encourage you to visit her website at sylvianenuccio.com, and I will leave all of the specific links in the description box as well as the blog post. Study the Solopreneur is about you. These discussions are meant to guide you toward living your truth, freeing your mind, and being creative. And this discussion encompassed all of those things. If you enjoyed this discussion, I encourage you to check out the playlist, listen to my other guests, and please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day, guys. And until next time, take care. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Study the Solopreneur. I hope this inspired you to take action to create a rewarding and successful career for yourself, doing work you love. I am your host, Dana Gore, and if you enjoyed this conversation, I invite you to visit my website at IamMyImagination.com. Live your truth, free your mind, be creative. Until next time, take care.